지금 시간은 2026년 3월 22일 오후 10시 15분입니다. Half of world billionaires from the three countries. Territory, an area that is controlled by a particular country, group, etc. Puerto Rico, an island in Caribbean, has been a territory of the United States since 1898. Territory. Ordinary, not special, unusual, or different in any way. The film follows a family living an ordinary life in a small Midwestern town. Property, an area of land and a building on it. My uncle owned a lot of property in the city. Asset, something valuable that a person or organization owns. Many of the country's assets were sold at auction to help repay the tax debt. Many of the country's assets were sold at auction to help repay the tax debt. Repay tax debt. Repay. Boom. A period of great wealth or fast growth. The U.S. went through a huge economic boom in the 1950s. The U.S. went through a huge economic boom in the 1950s. Overtake. To become bigger or more successful, important, etc. than someone or something else. Overtaking the United States, China becomes the world's biggest emitter of Caribbean dioxide in 2006. Overtaking the United States. China became the world's biggest emitter of carbon dioxide in 2006. Article, half of world billionaires from the three countries. More than half of the world billionaires come from just three countries. That's according to the latest data from Forbes. The website said there are 80 countries and territories with a list of billionaire citizens, but 51% of the world billionaires come from the US, China, and India. Many ordinary people are finding that life is getting more expensive, but at the same time, more people than ever before are becoming billionaires. Forbes says there are now more than 3,400 billionaires around the world. Being a billionaire does not mean having $1 billion in the bank. A person considered a billionaire if the total value of their money, property, and other assets is 1 billion or more. The US is the place with the most billionaires. It now has almost 1,000, including the world's richest person, Elon Musk. It also had the most billionaires in 2025, but its total increased by more than 100 this year. China has 539 billionaires, Forbes says. It added that the country had benefited from the AI boom. The country's richest person is Jian Yaming, who is one of the founder of ByteDance, the company that owns TikTok. India has next on the list with 229 billionaires. At the end of 2025, India said it had overtaken Japan to become the world's fourth largest economy, behind only the US, China, and Germany. Germany has fourth on the billionaire list, followed by Russia, Italy, Canada, Hong Kong, Brazil, and Taiwan. But around the world, some people have had enough of billionaire. They said that no one needs to be that rich, and they want billionaires to pay more tax. Half of world's billionaires from three countries. More than half of world's billionaires come from just three countries. That's according to the latest data from Forbes. The website said there are 80 countries and territories with a list of 1 billionaire citizens. But 51% of world billionaires comes from the US, China, and India. Many ordinary people are finding that life is getting more expensive. But at the same time, more people than ever before are becoming billionaires. Forbes says there are now more than 3,400 billionaires around the world. Being a billionaire does not mean having $1 billion in the bank. A person is considered a billionaire if the total value of their money, property, and other assets is $1 billion or more. The US is the place with the most billionaires. The Dow has almost 1,000, including the world's richest person, Elon Musk. It also had the most billionaires in 2025. But its total increased by more than 100 this year. China has 539 billionaires, Forbes said. It added that the country had benefited from the AI boom. The country's richest person is Jian Yaming, who is one of the founders of ByteDance, the company that owns TikTok. India was next on the list with 229 billionaires. At the end of 2025, India said it had overtaken Japan to become the world's fourth largest company, economy, behind only the US, China, and Germany. Germany was first on the billionaire list, followed by Russia, Italy, Canada, Hong Kong, Brazil, and Taiwan. But around the world, some people had had enough of billionaires. They said that no one needs to be that rich, and that they want billionaires to pay more tax. How many billionaires are there in the world according to Forbes? More than 3,400 billionaires around the world. Who is China's richest person? Zhang, he is the uh, Zhang Yiming, who is one of the founder of ByteDance, the company that owns TikTok. How many billionaires does India live? Listed with 229 billionaires at the 2025. What are your thoughts about overseas report? There is very interesting result, but I'm not interested in the result of this report as uh, the as people who said the about the one needs to be that rich and that they want billionaires to pay more tax. So totally agree with this sentence. So I think they need to pay more taxes for their country. Okay. Japan's window workers get paid but do little. Seniority. The fact or state of being higher in age, rank, etc. than someone else. Promotion will be based on merit, no seniority. Promotions will be based on merit, not seniority. Seniority. Decline. To decrease in size, amount, etc. The president's popularity has been declining since last year. Zone out, zone out, zone out, zone out, zone out. To stop paying attention to or lose focus for a short time. I tend to zone out when people start talking about technical details in meeting. I tend to zone out when people start talking about technical details in meetings. Morale, the amount of confidence, enthusiasm, etc. felt by people or group at a particular time. The weekly lunch meeting have more have been good for our team's morale. The weekly lunch meetings have been good for our team's morale. Labor. Labor. Workers consider together or as a social or political group. The immigrant of young, educated people has led to labor shortages in many industries. Mentor, to train or give professional advice to someone. Labor shortage. Immigration, immigration, labor shortage, mentor, to train or give professional advice to someone. All of the new trainees are mentored by one of our most experienced staff members. All of the new trainees are mentored by one of our most experienced staff members. Japan's world workers get paid but too little. Japan has one of the highest level of senior employment among developed countries. In fact, in 2021, half of people aged 65 to 69 were still working. According to government data, surveys also shows that about 80% of Japanese workers hope to continue working even up after late they retire. However, staying employed doesn't always mean staying busy. In some companies, older employees go to work each day, but are given very few important tasks. Many are placed at the desk near the window, where they spend much of their time handling light duties. These employees are known as uh, madogi wajoku, or window workers. Most are men in their late 50s and 60s who joined their companies under the lifetime employment system called Shushin Koyo, in which pay is based on seniority rather than performance alone. Uh, instead of being in charge of terms or managing important projects, these workers may answer the occasional email or organize documents. They continue to get paid, but are intentionally kept always away from big responsibilities. And if their performance declines, companies usually move them to a quieter position instead of firing them. Younger employees have mixed feeling about this system. In a survey of workers aged 22 to 39 at large companies, nearly half said their workplace has an old guy who doesn't work. And when they were asked them what their madogi wajoku colleague actually doing during the workday. The most common answer including talking frequently, smoking or snack breaks, chatting, browsing the internet, or drawing out. Many believe keeping those workers can lower staff morale, create more work for younger members of staff, and increase labor costs. Still, some people said this system has its benefits. Uh, by keeping older older workers instead of firing them. Companies help reduce employees' fear of suddenly losing their jobs. It also allows older employees to use their experience to mentor or train younger staff. Japan's window workers get paid but too little. Japan has one of the highest level of senior employment among developed countries. In fact, in 2021, half of people aged 65 to 69 were still working, according to government data. Surveys also shows that about 80% of Japanese workers hope to continue working even after they retire. However, staying employed doesn't always mean stay busy. In some companies, older employees go to work each day but are given very few important tasks. Many are placed at desks near the window where they spend much of their time handling light duties. Mm. These employees are known as Madogi Wajoku or window workers. Most of the men in their last 50s or 60s who joined their companies under the life employment system called Sushin Koyo, in which pay is based on seniority rather than performance alone. Uh, Instead of being in charge of teams or managing important projects, these workers may answer the occasional email or organize documents. They continue to get paid, but are intentionally kept away from big responsibilities. And if their performance declines, companies usually move them to quieter position instead of firing them. Younger employees about mixed feelings about this system. In a survey of workers aged 20 to 39 at large companies, nearly half say their workplace has an old guy who doesn't work. And when they were asked what their Madogi Wajoku colleagues actually do during the workday, the most common answer included taking frequent smoking or snack breaks, chatting, browsing the internet, or Zoning out. Many believe keeping these workers can lower staff morale, create more work for younger members of staff, and increase labor costs. Still, some people say this system has its benefits. By keeping older workers instead of firing them, companies have reduced employees' fear of suddenly losing their job. It also allows older employees to use their experience to mentor or train younger staff. What are your thoughts on Japan's window workers? That is the kind of benefit for the lifetime employment. So I think that is the uh, basically uh, positive traditional of the Japan's employment style, but it actually increased the total cost of employment. So if who decrease losing the responsibility, I think companies should reduce their pay for decreasing total cost of company. Do you find it surprising that nearly half of Japanese companies have an old guy who doesn't work? Actually, it's not actually surprising because in Korea we are the same, but we don't have a lifetime employment system. So many people fired who old guy who doesn't work. Do you think pay should be based on performance or seniority? In Korea, we have having a system, a labor cost peak system. So that means someone losing their performance, who gets more or less pay from the company. So uh, I basically agree for this uh, system. So I think pay should be based on performance. Is I agreed with this. Which of your colleagues have been with your companies the longest? One of my team member was uh, stayed in this company over 25 years. So I admire him because he changed uh, his products so many times, and but his performance is always good. So uh, even though he is very older group in our company, so my company, so I basically admire him. Do you think you will stay with your company for many years? Actually, I think uh, stay this company for next many years. But if some company offered with very temptational uh, salary, uh, uh, I might move because proof salary proves salaryman's performance, I think. 60 of Japanese workers happy with working hours. 어제 받고 Meta drops encryption for Instagram messages. Encryption. encryption, the process of changing information into a code from so that only authorized people can access it. WhatsApp use end-to-end encryption to keep messages private. Implement to put the plain idea, policy, etc. into effect. In 1894, New Zealand became the first country in the world to implement a minimum wage. Enforcement, the process of making sure that a rule or law is obeyed. Obey. Several prominent lawmakers are calling for better enforcement of environmental regulations. Prominent lawmakers. Several monitor the watch to monitor the watch and check someone or something for a period of time. The U.S. government monitors known terrorists in several countries. Harmful, likely or able to cause harm or damage. This sunscreen provides 4 hours of protection from the sun's harmful ultraviolet rays. The sunscreen provides 4 hours of protection from the sun's harmful ultraviolet rays. Opt to choose something over an alternative. After a lot of doubt, I decided to opt for a Samsung phone. After a lot of doubt, I decided to opt for a Samsung phone. Meta drops encryption for Instagram messages. Meta drops encryption for Instagram messages. Your private message might not be so private anymore. At least on Instagram, messages on the popular photo sharing app will no longer have end-to-end encryption, parent company Meta has quietly announced. End-to-end encryption is a way of keeping messages between senders private. This meaning the messages are locked and only our intended receptors can see them. No one else, including the tech companies that make the messaging program, can see these messages even if they want to. However, Instagram didn't have end-to-end encryption for very long. Meta first announced plans to introduce it in 2019, but end-to-end encryption was only implemented on the company's platform in 2023. And now, an update to Instagram's Help Center said that from May 8, end-to-end encrypted messages on Instagram will no longer be supported. This means that Meta will be able to see the messages users send to each other. While some might not agree with this change, others are welcoming it. For some time, there have been concerns about the impact end-to-end encryption can be have on child safety. For example, for example, uh, child protection groups and law enforcement agencies have argued that private chats make it more difficult to monitor harmful content and protect children online. Others might not even notice the change. Very few people were opting into end-to-end encrypted messaging in DMs. So we're removing this option from Instagram in the coming months. Meta's spokesperson said. However, this change will not affect all Meta platforms, and any who wants to keep messaging with end-to-end encryption with can use WhatsApp. The spokesperson added. End-to-end encryption is used in many different messaging apps, including Signal, Facebook Messenger, Google Messenger, and Apple's iMessage. In February of this year, Discord also introduced end-to-end encryption for video calls. However, TikTok recently announced that it has no plan to introduce end-to-end encryption, saying that it make users less safe online. Okay. Meta drops encryption for Instagram messages. Your private messages might not be so private anymore, at least on Instagram. Messaging on popular photo sharing app will no longer have end-to-end encryption. Parent company Meta has quietly announced end-to-end encryption is a way of keeping messages between senders private. This means the messages are locked and only the intended recipients can see them. No one else, including the tech companies that make the messaging program, can see these messages even if they want to. However, Instagram didn't have end-to-end encryption for very long. Meta first announced plan to introduce it in 2019, but end-to-end encryption was only implemented on the company's platform in 2023. And now, an update to Instagram's Help Center said that from May 8, end-to-end encrypted messaging on Instagram will no longer be supported. This means that Meta will be able to see the messages users send to each other. While some might not agree with these changes, others are welcoming it. For some time, there have been concerns about the impact end-to-end encryption can have on child safety. For example, child protection groups and law enforcement agencies have argued that private chats make it more difficult to monitor harmful content and protect children online. Others might not even notice the change. Very few people were opting into end-to-end encrypted messaging in the end. So we are removing this option from Instagram in the coming months, the Meta spokesperson said. Uh, However, this change will not affect all Meta platforms, and anyone who wants to keep messaging with end-to-end encryption can use WhatsApp, the spokesperson added. End-to-end encryption is used in many different messaging apps, including Signal, Facebook Messenger, Google Messenger, and Apple's iPhone, iMessages. In February of this year, Discord also introduced end-to-end encryption for voice and video calls. However, TikTok recently announced that it has no plans to introduce end-to-end encryption, saying that it makes users less safe online. 오늘은 여기까지.